So to sum up, we can see what is the mechanism of insulin secretion. Whenever glucose gets transported into the beta cells through glucose transporter 2, it gets metabolized, ATP levels are raised. So when ATP is raised, ATP regulated potassium channels get inhibited or closed. So outflow or efflux of potassium decreases, which leads to depolarization of the membrane. Voltage sensitive calcium channels open up, intracellular calcium rises, and insulin secretion occurs. Now, after secretion, how the insulin acts? This part is a repetition of whatever we have discussed in general pharmacology. So the insulin receptor is a tyrosine kinase receptor. It exists as heterodimer. Hetero means these two subunits in each insulin receptor, one alpha which is extracellular if this is the cell membrane. So this alpha subunit is extracellular for binding with the hormone insulin or the ligand binding domain, and there is beta subunit which is membrane spanning subunit and has got the tyrosine kinase domain, and these exist in dimers. Two receptors are lying close by close. Hetero means each receptor has two subunits, alpha and beta, and dimer means two receptors exist together nearby. So binding of insulin to the alpha receptor causes such a conformational change that the tyrosine kinase containing domains of these adjacent receptors come nearby. This process causes phosphorylation of IRS. Insulin receptor existing as heterodimer, ligand or the insulin binds with the alpha subunit of the receptor. There occurs a conformational change phosphorylation of tyrosine residues in the IRS. IRS is insulin receptor substrate. This starts a cascade of reactions. After the phosphorylation of insulin receptor substrate tyrosine residues, there occurs cascade of reactions of phosphorylation and dephosphorylations, which produces various metabolic actions of insulin through generation of second messengers IP3 and DAG. There occur rapid actions or metabolic actions of insulin. Plus phosphorylation of this IRS over time causes activation of the DNA synthesis, and there occurs proliferation and differentiation of various cell types. I repeat, insulin binding to alpha subunit, changes in the beta subunits, conformational changes, phosphorylation of these tyrosine residues, autophosphorylation. Then there is phosphorylation of tyrosine residues in the insulin receptor substrate, which starts a cascade of reactions that lead to rapid actions through generation of IP3 and DAG and other second messengers, and that leads to protein synthesis and various proliferation and differentiation of different cell types. This part has already been covered with general pharmacology. So two alpha subunits, just as a flow chart for the sake of completion of your notes, and there are two membrane spanning beta subunits which are connected together by a disulfide bond, Insulin binds with alpha, stimulates tyrosine kinase in beta, which causes autophosphorylation and the phosphorylation of tyrosine residues in IRS. There occurs cascade of reactions which lead to generation of second messengers IP3DAG, and second action is the GLUT4, glucose transporter 4, is shifted to the membrane from inside the cell. Rapid actions occur through second messengers, and transport of glucose 4 causes increased uptake of glucose. Here, increased glucose uptake as the GLUT4 has moved to the membrane, and these second messengers cause rapid actions of insulin or metabolic effects, major metabolic effects. Further, in long-term basis, phosphorylation of tyrosine residues of IRS causes DNA synthesis activation, and there occurs proliferation and differentiation of several cell types. After exerting these actions, the insulin and the receptor complex is internalized into the cell. Insulin is degraded and the receptor is shifted back to the membrane for further action. Now, what are the major metabolic effects? Again, a repetition of whatever you have learned from physiology. In the carbohydrate metabolism, the major effect is transportation of glucose transporter 4 to the surface of the cells in the target tissues, leading to increased uptake of glucose by the cells. So if insulin is present and is acting, then the glucose present in the blood can be easily taken up by the cells and utilized. Then glucokinase is activated and utilization of glucose is increased. Glycogen synthetase enzyme is activated, obviously synthesis of glycogen, and its deposition increases. The reverse enzyme phosphorylase, that is inhibited, so glycogen is not broken down. Decreased glycogenolysis, glycogen lysis is reduced because of inhibition of this enzyme. Phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase is inhibited and decreased gluconeogenesis. I think you are familiar with these enzymes from biochemistry. If you can remember, it is okay. Otherwise, simple: increased uptake and utilization of glucose, increased synthesis of glycogen and decreased breakdown of glycogen, and decreased new synthesis of glucose, gluconeo, glucose synthesis, glycogen synthesis. Check the two effects. Glycogen is being synthesized. So when glycogen is synthesized, glucose is being used, but new glucose from non-carbohydrate sources is not being synthesized. So all these 4-5 actions lead to use of glucose from the blood, and that glucose is used for giving energy or is deposited. Whatever has already been deposited as glycogen is not being broken down, so less supply of glucose from this source, and no new glucose is being, or less new glucose is being synthesized from non-carbohydrate sources. So all these actions contribute to reduced blood glucose levels. On protein, it causes positive nitrogen balance there because there is breakdown is reduced but synthesis is increased. On the fat metabolism, it increases again lipogenesis in the liver, increases fatty acid and triglyceride synthesis in the fat cells, but decreases the breakdown, decreases lipolysis. In the vascular endothelium, the lipoprotein lipase enzyme gets activated, which causes clearance of chylomicrons and VLDL from the plasma. So you can clearly see that carbohydrate metabolism, protein metabolism and fat metabolism are dependent on insulin. That is why in cases of insulin deficiency, the reverse occurs. There is metabolic disorder. So till now we were discussing the physiology part. We were discussing insulin as a endogenous substance, as a hormone. Now the concern of pharmacology is when we use insulin as a drug for the treatment of diabetes type 1 or some cases of type 2 also. So what are the various preparations, from where do we get those preparations, what is their duration of action? That is the pharmacology part, and this question is very important for your examinations and for the clinical purposes also, because diabetes is a very common condition. Now what are various insulin preparations and what are various insulin analogs? We get insulin for medicinal use from beef and pork. The bovine insulin differs from human insulin in 3 amino acids, whereas the pork insulin or porcine insulin differs from human insulin only in sequence of 1 amino acid. So we can say that this is closer. Pork insulin is closer to human insulin as compared to bovine. But as these are proteins and there is difference from the human insulin, there is risk of immunogenic reactions. Immune reactions can occur with bovine as well as porcine insulin. So how to tackle that? There are two ways. Either we decrease the difference. This is not acceptable, this is not acceptable, difference of 1 amino acid, then why not to use human insulin itself, or we can purify these insulins to remove the antigenic substances. Purification of the bovine or porcine insulin or preparation of human insulins. Purification techniques used are gel filtration and ion exchange chromatography to get the insulins which are known as single peak monocomponent insulins. Or this is a recombinant DNA technique, because otherwise it is not possible or it is very difficult to get insulin from humans. So what we do is we take the human proinsulin gene and we implant that gene in the E. coli or yeast. E. coli or yeast, the gene which codes for human proinsulin is given. The bacteria multiply or yeast multiply, then you can say we obtain the proinsulin from these E. coli or yeast, and then we obtain or synthesize insulin from that. So human insulin is not obtained from human pancreas. It is synthesized by recombinant DNA technology. So based upon the source, we have 3 types of insulin: bovine, porcine, which are further purified by gel filtration and ion exchange chromatography, and we have human recombinant DNA insulin. That was based on the source. How do we see insulin preparations based on the duration of action? We have 4 types of preparations of insulin or its analogs. They are ultra short acting, intermediate acting, and long acting. Simple. So, four types of insulin preparations based on their duration. Ultra short acting are those which have rapid or fast onset and short duration. Onset is within 15 to 30 minutes of injection, their effect starts, and they act for a duration of 3 to 4 hours. For short acting, this is ultra short. For short acting, we will see this onset will be delayed. It will be after 1 hour, and this duration will be slightly long, 4 to 8 hours. Then further these things increase for intermediate and for long acting. So ultra short acting insulins include, this is important as a short note, ultra short acting insulin you can get, or you can get a short note on any insulin lispro, aspart, or glulycine. Most of the things will remain the same: insulin lispro, insulin aspart, and insulin glulycine. These are monomeric insulins, and therefore they are absorbed rapidly. So when they are absorbed rapidly from the site of injection, their onset will be rapid. They are soluble, and hence they are dispensed as clear solution. Soluble in water, dispensed as clear solutions. Insulin lispro, aspart, and glulycine. Now, when it is rapid acting, it is good for controlling the post-meal or postprandial hyperglycemia, but it has to be combined with other preparations so that the glucose levels are maintained between the meals also. We can't inject a drug after every 3-4 hours, so it has to be combined with some other preparations. Next is short acting. It includes regular and semi-lente. Regular is, now see the duration, onset of action in 1 hour and duration is 4 to 8 hours. Regular insulin, one of the most commonly used, is a soluble form, crystalline form of human RNA insulin, a human recombinant DNA insulin. It is human insulin, it is soluble, exists in crystalline form, and has been prepared by recombinant DNA technology. In this preparation, zinc ions are added for increasing its stability by hexamerization. There occurs hexamerization with zinc ions. But what happens is, after injection, in this interstitial space, it breaks into dimers and monomers that get readily absorbed. The beauty of regular insulin, or the most important feature, is that it can be mixed with all the insulins except long acting insulin analogs. We'll discuss long acting. Regular insulin can be mixed with all other insulins except long acting preparations. It is drug of choice for post meal hyperglycemia because it is short acting, and for ketoacidosis. Another amorphous insulin with smaller particles is semi-lente. Semi-lente, S for semi, S for short acting. Semi-lente is short acting. It has smaller particles and is amorphous in nature. After ultra short acting and short acting, we have intermediate acting insulin preparations, which is NPH. Now, N is, it is neutral at physiological pH. P is protamine. Here insulin has been complexed with a protein obtained from sperms of fish. The name of the protein is protamine. Neutral at physiological pH, complexed with protamine, which is a protein obtained from fish sperms, and it was developed by Hagedorn, Hagedorn, Hagedorn. So neutral protamine Hagedorn insulin, and that NPH insulin in which there are 6:1 ratio of, for one molecule of protamine there are 6 molecules of insulin. That preparation is known as isophane insulin. It is a cloudy complex of insulin with protamine, ratio 6:1, 6 insulin for 1 protamine. It is intermediate. Now see, for ultra short acting onset was 15 to 30 minutes. For short acting it was 60 minutes. Here duration of action is 2 hours. 2 hours. Because after injection it will take some time for this protamine to be proteolized, to be broken down, and then insulin will be free and then it will be absorbed. So onset is delayed 2 hours and duration of action is for 16 to 20 hours. Another one intermediate acting is lente. It is a mixture of ultra lente and lente in a ratio of 70:30%. Lente is intermediate acting. Semi-lente was S for semi-lente was short acting, and this ultra lente is long acting. Right? So ultra lente, semi-lente and lente. This should be semi-lente. Lente insulin becomes when we mix long acting ultra lente insulin with short acting semi-lente insulin. We get an intermediate acting preparation which is called lente. Is that clear? It is a mixture of ultra lente and semi here. Semi-lente insulin in a ratio of 7:3. These preparations must be shaked before injecting. They are good for control of diabetes. But in ketoacidosis, as there is emergency, we need comparatively faster acting, and regular insulin is used in ketoacidosis. Now, long acting insulin preparations or analogs, they have slow onset of action because they are absorbed slowly. They are synthesized in a way that absorption is slowed, and they act for a long time. Their duration of action is 24 hours. Preparations are ultra lente, as I mentioned. It is a suspension of zinc and insulin, insoluble crystalline form and longer acting. If we mix this ultra lente with short acting semi lente, we get an intermediate acting preparation, that is lente. Ultra and semi cancel each other to become lente alone. Then we have an insulin analog known as insulin glargine. This is a peculiar preparation in which the solubility depends upon the pH. At a pH of 4, the solution is the insulin glargine is soluble, but when it reaches at the physiological pH in the subcutaneous tissue, it becomes insoluble. Therefore, it precipitates at the subcutaneous site. From these microfine precipitates, it is slowly absorbed. That is why it has slow onset and long duration of action. Insulin glargine, you can get itself as a short note. We cannot mix it with other preparations because before injection the pH must be maintained at 4 so that it doesn't precipitate outside the body. So we need not mix it with others. If you remember, I mentioned with regular insulin that regular insulin can be mixed with all other insulins except long acting. Then another insulin analog with long duration of action is insulin detemir. It has got a fatty acid side chain which binds with albumin. Hence, it will be slowly released from albumin. dissociate from albumin and then absorbed. It should also not be mixed with other insulins. Then we have insulin degludec. It also has fatty acid side chain which forms multihexamers. From those multihexamers, slowly monomers are released, slowly absorbed, leading to slow onset and long duration. So we have discussed ultra short acting, intermediate acting and long acting insulins based upon the duration of their action. Another thing is there are two FDA approved preparations, Exubera and Afrezza, which are inhaled insulins for the control of mealtime hyperglycemia. But with inhaled insulins there is a risk of pharyngitis. Pharyngitis can occur. And there is a risk of pulmonary fibrosis also. So they are not very popular insulins. Now if you see, out of all these preparations which we have discussed, only the regular insulin, the inhaled insulins and NPH, they are insulin preparation. Rest everything we have discussed is insulin analog. Analog is which have been prepared by genetic engineering techniques to get some favorable pharmacokinetic properties. Mnemonic will be Rin detergent powder, regular insulin, inhaled insulin and NPH. They are insulins. Rest all the things which we have discussed, insulin glargine, Detimer, degludec, ultralente, lente, everything. Lisproaspart, glulisine, they are all insulin analogs. So we can cover insulin preparation based on the source, beef, porcine and human. Beef and porcine further divided how they are purified, gel filtration or ion exchange. I'm leaving the details of this because they are not much in clinical use. Based on duration, ultra short acting, we have lisproaspart and glulisine which are analogs. We have short acting is regular insulin which is insulin and semilente. Intermediate are NPH and lente. Lente is a mixture of ultra lente and semilente. Ultra and semi will cancel each other, so it becomes lente. And long acting we have insulin glargine, Detimer and degludec. And then we have inhaled insulins, Exubera and Afrezza. That's all. We will continue next. Thank you.